tomorrow. There is no Anglophone problem in Cameroon. And I've given facts to
Good morning. Mr. Paul ATANGA, I congratulate you on your appointment as Minister for the Rural Administration.
We have not controlled our land for over 100 years. So we have either been governed by the Germans, or the British using Nigerians, or the French using the citizens of La République. And there's one thing that's common about all these people. They come into our territory because they don't have interest in us. They have interest in our territory and in our resources. They have always found weak links in our communities. And those weak links have been the Judas Iscariots in our society and the Quislings, or people who have failed politically and disgruntled. Like, do you know why Muna was selected to replace Joa? Do you know why?
Well, I think from the days of moving from the Eastern House of Assembly and forming political parties and all that kind of stuff, you know, he was lost. He was somebody who wanted power and did not have access to power. So it was easy for Ahidjo to come in and use him as a tool to undermine an elected government.
Absolutely. And to be more definite, he was expected to be appointed Prime Minister and not Joa, and Foncha picked Joa. And so La République saw that he was disgruntled and come on like, hey, come on here. So he was vulnerable and he was ready to sell his people and destroy the government of the Southern Cameroons to be used to replace Joa. They both were of the KNDP at the time. So when he saw that opportunity, he went and formed his own party, which had the same name as the party of Ahidjo, and Ahidjo went and removed Ngomjoa and put him. Okay, and since then it's been the same thing. They either take those who Foncha sent over there and corrupt them and make them become against their people. Like I've already told that story. Foncha said that he only sent, when we're in that fake federation, Foncha said he only sent people who were elected as parliamentarians from their different districts to go and represent in La République, so that those people don't go there as being appointed by the prime minister, but they go with their own power as being elected officials from their districts. But when they went into La République, he reports that they all sold out to Ahidjo and forgot about the Southern Cameroons and started carrying La République's water. The only person that I think he mentioned, Zoe Kangaki, who was the only person who was still loyal to him, Foncha, as the Prime Minister of Southern Cameroon, and therefore to the people of Southern Cameroon. And so you find this history where our people, that the people that they have selected among our people in order to placard our acquiescence in our colonization or our exploitation have been people who either do not like us, or who we did not choose, or who are adventurers, or just simple, barely Judas Iscariots who don't care for the people and they just sell their stomach. In fact, people who, if they had a way to be robbing other people with guns, they would be. And so and you know where I'm going with this. Recently, ATANGA Paul was selected to be the Minister of Territorial Administration, an Anglophone, to be the Minister of Territorial Administration. Don't say anything yet. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking in two ways. And like, wow, the people of Ambazonia have been very, 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 very successful in the challenge to La République. Mm-hmm. They have challenged them so that it's overturned their politics, so that an Anglophone, if you want to use their term, is now going to be the Minister of Territorial Administration. It's never been dreamt of. Of all ministries, the Ministry of Territorial Administration was a ministry that I think the French had to have a hand on who becomes the Minister of Territorial Administration. Mm-hmm. So they picked an Anglophone to be that. They also picked, I don't know about education. Has an Anglophone ever been the Minister of Education?
No.
Okay. And now they're actually thinking of putting an Anglophone as President of La République in the person of Muna. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Obviously, they trust the Muna blood and the Muna DNA, that they're susceptible to that kind of thing. So they pick, and then the other lady, Madame Lyonga, Pauline Nolava. So these are the people who have, and all these people have not shown any affinity to the people of Ambazonia. What do you say?
You laid it out very well, and I'm glad that you could also see, like me, that we always say to every cloud there is a silver lining, and the silver lining that our people need to take from this appointment of ATANGA Paul is that we are winning this fight. We are getting somewhere.
That's a desperate grab at a snake.
Yes.
For survival.
Yes.
That's what ATANGA Paul is a snake.
Yes.
He has come out and said there's no Anglophone problem, and even La République knows that there's an Anglophone. Everybody in the world knows that there's an Anglophone. And so I also heard that he's been a convict. A convict?
Yeah, I hear he's a convict, but that's for La République.
No, I'm just showing how much a snake La République is going to hang on to.
Everybody in La République is a potential, either in the international court or anywhere. So let's not worry about that. But what I wanted to underscore in what you just described is what we have had an opportunity in this show to talk about, which is clientele politics, right? Mm-hmm. We've addressed that, and this is when an organized minority or interest group benefits at the expense of the public. So these people Ahijo came, took Muna, as you just described, and used him to dissolve and enslave us. So the Muna family benefited at the expense of the Southern Cameroons and Ambazonian people. You have the Philomen Yang.
No, Philemon Yang is actually a Muna. So in a certain context. And they play these things together with what you call the identity politics. So, but Pa, you see how rewarding it is to sell out in our territory?
Yes,
so Pa Muna sells out, his children and grandchildren are all just lavishing from our suffering.
And that is why that temptation to sell out is so powerful. But there are people who still have those core values that we were raised in. There are still people who would rather die than sell their people, than sell their conscience. So you have the ATANGA Pauls, the Simon Munzus, the Achidi Achu, the Mafani Musonge, the Nalova Lyonga, and all those people. They are clients. They play clientele politics because they are picked by the French and La République to appear as if, they are some of us who are represented in this charade of a government, but actually what they are actually there to do is just to serve themselves and serve the interest of the French. So that this particular band of people is selected, they are clients, they act as a facilitator between us and the Republic du Cameroon. You forgot one other person, the general Elokobi. Because he is the one who has been burning down all the houses in Manu. It is under his military supervision.
All right, just hold your thoughts. Let me say something. I'm glad you brought that up. You see, when they say ATANGA Paul is going to be the Minister of Territorial Administration, ATANGA Paul is not really going to be the Minister of Territorial Administration. What they're going to do, they'll put him as a front and cause a lot of damage and a kind of genocide in southern Cameroon, and he'll be the one to front it.
Yes.
Okay? It's like this Lokobi that you're talking about. That's what they did. They sent him down there, and he fronted, and they tell him what to do. You remember when we ran that episode, I said there's 1 or 2 people assigned to take him off if he doesn't take the orders.
Yes, yes.
So these people, they take themselves from the status of humans and become something less than humans because they have to do whether they agree or not. You remember some people have said that in some of the killings, I remember it happened in Manfi where some of our troops turned around and fought, some of the AMBAZONIan troops that are integrated in the military of La Republique turned around and fought the soldiers of La Republique because they were asking them to go and do things that they shouldn't do. You know, that's what men do.
Yes.
If they say go and shoot your own people, you say absolutely not.
Good morning. Mr. Paul ATANGA, I congratulate you on your appointment as Minister for Territorial Administration and urge you to live up to the high trust of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya.
I think all of them were really closing their nose as they were doing all of that was good, because here are people who are being told to do everything that's against the fiber of their makeup, and they have to do it. Can you imagine how miserable that is?
It is miserable. I don't know how they go back home to their families. So that is how clientele politics works. But then in that same clientele politics, you have a subset of that which is what is called identity politics. And that is when they pick somebody from Womb, or they pick somebody from Bafut, or they pick somebody from like Philomeyan from Campbell. So now he is representing the Wimbum people. Or they pick Mafani or Yonga Poli now, and he's representing the Bakwari people. Or they pick ATANGA Paul, and then he's representing the Bamenda people and all those kind of things. Or they pick the other guy who is Paul or Paul whatever, to the Secretary of State, that is representing the people from the Southwest. So then those people become the identity of these particular groups within the government.
But just hold 1 second. I watched a little piece with somebody in Bali. I don't know if you watched that same thing. With somebody in Bali celebrating that they've appointed what appointment? Oh, he was celebrating ATANGA.
Nothing can happen to our forces of law and order. Nothing can happen to our DOs. Nothing can happen to any other person who has been sent here as an official to work for us. Our president, our national chairman has understood that the Anglophone has a problem. He has started bringing solution to it, because you will know that ATANGA has been made Minister of Territorial Administration for the first time. They are giving us back. They are giving us one ministry in Ministry of Education with Naloba Lyonga, who is the minister. Then Anglophones have one Secretary General in the presidency, in the person of Elung Paul. Then in the Ministry of External Relationship, we have Mbayu Felix, who is our in-law, who has been made minister. So, because the elder brother who died of recent is not long ago married Mukle to Sita. Mbayu, my lawyer. So, but they get reason. Machunga yipobi afang boboa, but Samuel Fanji can eat betting more.
And I looked at them and I was so sorry for him, because ATANGA is going to stuff his pocket. His children would be taken care of, and you, the CPDM, when they come to clear Bali, they'll clear you without even. Do you remember when they went to come I think that was in 1990 something, where they went and just devastated the whole community. There were some where they ramshackled the house with Paul Biya's picture hanging on the wall. So this identity politics that Rogers is talking about is an identity politics that fools only the ignorant. Because if you go and have a job and you're making your money and taking care of your family, how does that affect me? Why should somebody from Bafut who is handpicked by Paul Biya to come and serve him and pay him a certain, why should that make the Bafut people happy? That shouldn't, because I guess the assumption is that he's going to go bring something, but they never bring anything. Okay, so please, what we're trying to do is improve the general population of us, or allow us to sink or swim based on our own decision making. But if somebody comes and is playing games around you by picking one of yours and flashing in front of you, don't buy that.
Yeah, and people need to see, and you are only talking about the one in Bali. You saw the cultural dance. I don't know where they were dancing in Bamenda, and some traditional dances came out there, and I just pity those people. And that is what hunger does. That is what hunger does to people. You saw one CPDM guy. He had to wear his T-shirt, and I think what they gave him as competition was a sardine and a loaf of bread. So that is what people will sell their consciences for. But we are hoping that you have a better decision to make. You can tell your children and your family that we are better than this. The country that we are fighting to build is a country that is based on merit, where everybody will have opportunity, and where criminals like ATANGA and NJI would not be able to serve you. So we are not going to be playing this kind of politics where somebody comes and because he is from here or he's from there, he's going to sell his conscience in order to serve the master. No, we'll be serving the people. We're building a country that serves the people, that works for the people, that takes care of its people. Because all those people who came out in Bali, and you could see them standing there miserable. The people who went to that cultural dance, to dance with the appointment of ATANGA and NJI, he was not even there. They are miserable people wearing a uniform to go out and celebrate when they don't even have food to eat.
But all these people, they're manipulated. They're manipulated. But when you talk about ATANGA and NJI, we can say, hey, here's an individual in a very tough system where it's a patronage system, and he just learns to play the game well. Now, the SDF, I haven't given you a chance to comment about that. The SDF itself turncoat. You know what a turncoat is?
Yeah.
The SDF itself turncoat. The SDF used to come to the United States, and I, Augustine Ambe, we would spend time going around. And sometimes I would drive to Chicago at my own expense, pay a hotel at my own expense, work with Frundi, and we'll raise money. I remember one evening, they played a video that I made, the making of the Cameroon and you. We raised $16,000. We built the SDF that way. I flew to Washington, D.C. We all did. And we raised and build that party, and Frundi turns around and gives it to CPDM to use it as a tool against our people.
Well, I've always told you that I am not interested in discussing the SDF, because these are things that we had seen a long time ago. And every single thing, because there were people who were not very happy that we described what the SDF was doing in Parliament as a charade. People were not happy, but at least.
It was purely staged.
Yes.
It was purely staged in order to prepare ground for a lot of bad things to come. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the people who did not believe what we were saying, at least they are Thomases now. They have come to see. So now that you have seen, you can believe. Because I don't know how the CPDM found itself on the stage, not only in the SDF convention, but they were on stage with the SDF. So even in this country where because these are people with two different ideologies. In this country, you have Republicans and you have Democrats in this country. Have you ever seen a Republican in a Democratic Party convention?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So this is what we are saying, that every single thing SDF or John Frundi in particular, because he is SDF, every single thing John Frundi has done is to benefit him and him only. John Frundi is the one who arranged for these CBDM people to come in and be in bed with the SDF. So actually, if you are an SDF militant, there is really no difference between you and the CPDM now. And it happened in all places. The funniest thing to me in all of that was that the people used to protect John Frundi from the CPDM and La Republic forces.
When you name the people, I think you should name that it was the Takumban women,
Yes.
bracelets, standing there to protect Frundi. While he's in the house, they are surrounding his house.
Yes.
It was the kids who cut down trees in the neighborhood.
Yes, to block the roads.
It was those that lost their arms. It was those that were ready to die.
Yes, to protect Frundi from the government of La Republic. And how ironical is that now Frundi is running away from the people to go and seek refuge in the government of La Republic. That is the funniest thing to me. And there is no other place where you can write this theater but in La Republic du Cameroon. So I am glad that our people have seen enough of this nonsense and they are ready to move on. So it doesn't bother me because it does not come as a surprise. That is how I have always seen the SDF. That is how I've always seen John Frundi. I saw what they were doing in Parliament as an attempt to increase their stock with the government of La Republic, so that when they go to the government of La Republic, you can say, hey, you've seen what we have done, now we need more money, we need this, we need that. And this convention thing just came to solidify that stuff that we have been describing. So it shouldn't surprise anybody. But those people who were Thomases, I think the time of reckoning has come. The chickens have now come home to roost.
Well, I do have and I'm going to say this very clear. We talked about the ANC and how they moved how they infected the world, affected the world to then come together and free South Africa. Mm-hmm. The ANC also suffered where the police, the apartheid police used to come to their communities and recruit members. Mm-hmm. to either spy on the people or become police against the people. Mm-hmm. And my understanding is that if they came and recruited you and you refuse, they'll catch you, put a rubber on your neck and burn you. Mm-hmm. And then the next time they come to recruit the other person, if he's going to say no, they say, remember Roger Akembom? So you remember what happened to him? It will happen to you too. So you better get up and go for training. And that's how the South African apartheid system recruited their informants and their police that made the apartheid system, that kept the apartheid system going. So crunch time for the ANC and the people of South Africa, what did they start doing? They started saying, okay, if you're afraid of the tire from the police, know that we will have a tire for you if you join the police. Mm-hmm. And that's how come you saw the what they used to call necklacing of black people by black people in South Africa. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, the ATANGA Pauls, all the sellouts, all the Judas Iscariots that have sold our people for their own personal benefit, should the people of Southern Cameroon just sit there and become commodity to be sold by whoever they want and get away, put the money in their pocket and go and get rich?
No, you don't have to do that, because we know that ATANGA Paul would not hesitate even 1 second to send forces of the Republic to come in and kill you. So ATANGA Paul is, as well as he is a representation of what you are fighting. So if I am standing in your way of progress, and the only way you are going to be safe is to get through me, then you have to get through me. You have to take me down, in order to get to where you are going. So anything that is an obstacle in your way, in your fight for freedom. And when I talk about obstacle, it is not like just somebody laying roadblocks that you have, because you can jump roadblocks, you can avoid them. But what I'm talking about obstacle is somebody who is ready to order the killing of our people. Somebody who is ready to put out the army that is going to come out and cut somebody's head. Because what was done to Samsoya, nobody in ATANGA NJI or all the other people, or all the people that support the CPDM government or support the Republic of Cameroon, none of them have come out to condemn what was done. So if you don't condemn it, it means you condone it. And if you condone what was done to Samsoya, it means it doesn't matter who else it is.
I think the whole thing is part of. I think what you're talking about is part of the self-defense. Mm-hmm. There's the self-defense theory that some people on our shows have talked about very eloquently. That it is a legitimate way of self-protection.
Yes.
If people are willing to cause so much death among you, you have a right to defend yourself.
Yes.
Okay, you have a right to defend yourself. I'm going to ask you one tough one. And I think this starts showing the mafia side and the Nazi side of the colonizers who are colonizing our people. Mm-hmm. Do you think ATANGA NJI now can decide that, look, I want to resign, I really don't like this position? You think can he do that and go free?
Well, I don't know if he can go free or not, because I don't know the kind of pact that he signed with those people. But and I've heard that Philemon Yang has tried to resign and he was not let go. I don't know how that happens, because I know that if I don't want to serve something that I don't believe in, I'm not going to serve it.
I'm not talking about you.
No, that's what I'm saying, that I don't know the kind of pact that they signed with those people. So what I'm trying to say is that whether if he does not believe in it, he can let it go even if it's going to cost him his life, because it is something that he does not believe in. But so nobody can tell me. What I'm trying to tell you is that nobody can make that argument to me, and I've heard people say this before, that these people
this is not to talk about Paul ATANGA NJI. I think ATANGA NJI has already shown his own side by selling.
Yes.
I'm saying, would La Republique government allow ATANGA NJI now to resign and say, I don't want part of this anymore?
Well, that's what I'm saying. They don't have to allow. If he wanted to, he could do it. They don't.
Okay, let me. You just mentioned Philemon Yang. Was Philemon Yang allowed to resign?
Well, he did. I don't believe everybody stopped him from resigning. He did not want to resign. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, but what was your story? What did you hear?
That he wanted to resign and they won't let him resign.
Can he now decide that he wants to resign? Regardless?
That is what I believe. Because if you don't believe in serving the devil and you want to separate from the devil, there are two things.
The devil will let you separate.
Well, if the devil doesn't want to let you separate, the devil should kill you, because you are going to die on principle.
And maybe that's why ATANGA NJI, Philemon Yang did not resign.
Well, I can't speak for him. What I'm trying.
But let me say this: I've taken a lot of interest in the period in the Nazi regime, what they used to do. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the French do the same thing. La République does the same thing in our land. These are people who kill at will, and these are people who, I mean, because they're playing God, they think they are God. You think when La République goes into AMBAZONIA and clears a whole village and burn families in their homes and then goes back and life continues? You are those people who we should even doubt what they would do if they say, no, we will not accept your resignation, and then you give it. These are people who go and arrest a chief judge against all the rules in the book.
So what you are saying is that ATANGA NJI or Philemon Yang should continue to serve because he's afraid to die?
No, I'm saying that these people have sold their souls to the devil. And the devil is going to be the devil if they don't perform to the full extent.
Yes. And
so once you've I don't even want to go into some of the stories that are told why francophone presidents in colonial states in Africa go through in order to be loyal to the French.
No, we have seen some videos of that. We have seen the initiation ceremonies and things. The Android generation is doing a lot. I've seen Omar Bongo was the last person who was initiated. Ali Bongo, sorry. So we have seen those initiation ceremonies and things like that. But what I'm saying is that you have a choice to make. So the choice is, are you going to sell your people or you sell your head? It is like, people talk about these stories back home, that somebody went and entered what they call Nyongo. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. And then they came and said, well, you have to give your child or you have to give your mother or whatever. And the person says, hell no, I'm not giving anybody.
And what happens to them?
So they take the person.
Yes.
So that is what I'm talking about.
So I think the lesson you're trying to say here is that if they come for you, you are better off saying no and maybe take off. But you can't join and then when they give you the axe to go and axe down your own people and you think you can say no.
Yes, because you have to be somebody like General Elo could be. Because even, I don't care what ATANGA Jimpor has said, but somebody like General Elo could be, who commands soldiers, who go into Kimbong and raise down people's houses and burn people in their houses. And you as the commanding officer, you don't say anything or do anything about it. And it is repeated over and over and over. They burn guys, they burn the bikes, they burn people's houses, they spill their oil, they do every kind of thing. To your people, the people that you drive to the village and you expect to sit down and share a cup of drink with, and you cannot raise your voice, you are less than subhuman.
But let me say this, okay? And what the public troops are doing, it's a sign of weakness. Mm-hmm. It's not a sign of strength. Mm-hmm. Because if you are going to fight an enemy, carpet bombing is against the law. Mm-hmm. Okay, carpet bombing in a war is not legal. And so when they go and raise down a whole village and burn it, and we have the videos and with the testimonies, it is up to us to take that information, package it together, and find who in the world will listen to it. Our people cannot fight this struggle by ourselves. I'm sorry to tell the IG that you cannot go around saying we are on our own. If we are on our own means, we should fight as if there's nobody else to help us. I agree. That's what you tell our people and tell them how to fight. But as a responsible government, we need to package this information, let the world know it, not through the world searching through WhatsApp group, no. Not through forwarding WhatsApp group, no. You package that information, you tell the story, you go to those countries, you buy television there, you roll that tape, and you see the reaction, because you defeat some of these governments only in their own territory. And your advocates will be people, just good people, because in every country there are good people. They're sitting there, and if you say there's this documentary coming, they will watch it and they will pick up their phone and call their senators or their congressmen or their representatives, and they will listen to them, and they're going to act based on that. That's how apartheid was won. When we say we are on our own, it means we are on our own to now do some of these things that we need to do to bring the world to our side, so we defeat an evil that the world knows exists, but the world is not going to do anything unless we make them do something. Do you have anything else to add, Pa?
Well, we always have to thank our people for their sacrifices. We want to thank the people of Moamo and Batibo. We want to thank, I saw the burial of Samsoya over the weekend, and how the Com people came out to pay him homage. We want to thank and pray with all of you who have lost loved ones, those of you who have lost your properties, the bike riders whose bikes have been burnt, that was the only means of survival for their families. We know that you are sacrificing all of these things because you want a better tomorrow. To those who have lost loved ones, the people that you lost died for a reason. They died for a cause. They died so that all of us can be free. And we are going to hope and pray and do everything in our power to make sure that their sacrifices did not go in vain. And I'm going to ask you people again to call your families in the diaspora, call your cultural groups, call them and tell them that their inaction is not helping you. Their inaction is actually supporting the actions of La Republique against you people back at home. They have stated over and over again that their reason for non-participation is to protect you. My question to you is, this far, have you been protected?